Hey guys and girls, I'm James and welcome to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the DEERC D40, new drone from DERC that just came out. It's a really nice beginner mini drone, and if you've been around drones for a while, I know what you're already thinking. Guys, it looks just like the D20. It does look just like the D20. Looking at them, they look very similar, but that's kind of like saying the DJI 1 Mini and 2 are the same, where they have different cameras, remotes, batteries. They're completely different. Well, that's how these are. They look a lot alike, but this one's a 720p camera and this one's a 1080. They have different remotes, different apps, and different batteries. But the major difference by looking at them is this one has foldable props and these ones don't, which is really important on brushed motors. If it had brushless motors, that wouldn't matter a whole lot, but being brushed motors, it does, because if you watch my review on this one, within 5 minutes of my first one, I ruined it because I got it into a bind. And when you put these into a bind, it either strips the gears or it can burn up the brushed motors. Because more expensive drones have brushless motors, which is kind of like two magnets spinning inside of each other, where brushless motors are kind of like two brooms spinning inside of each other. So if you get these into a bind, it burns the motor up really quick. Where these being foldable, and that's much less likely to happen. So I know what you're thinking. It's got to cost way more expensive. Guys, it's only $5 more, and it's twice the drone that this one is. Just flying it, like I said, the latency is so much better, which means when it's headed towards something, this one takes a little while to get turned around and come back at you when it's going fast. Where this one, it seems to spin on a dime and makes it much safer to fly. I don't know if it's the different props or the batteries or the way the ECU works or the remote or the app or whatever it is, this drone is much easier to fly. But this drone has a lot of competition out there, and one of them is the other one that DERC just put out, the D23. And this one has covered props and it lights up, which really gives it a cool factor. But this is a 720p camera and this one's a 1080. So for flying indoors, this thing would be really good. And also around the same price point is the Holystone HS430 that just came out. And I really like this one. The main thing about this one is how long it flew. So can this one fly as good? Can it fly as long? How's the camera? So let's go put her up in the air, see how she flies, how long the flight battery lasts compared to this one, how good the camera is, and then I'll come back. I'll show you how to get the remote bound to the drone, how to get the gyro set, and how to get the app working to get the camera to work. And then we'll come back for our final review. So let's go put her up in the air. Oop. Oh. Just the wind. I didn't think it was that windy. So this thing flies good against the wind. So if you're going to fly it in the wind, be sure and go to the high speed right away. So it's got two speeds, high and low, and it's right there in the middle of the remote. Also, if you didn't notice, I've got a 20% off discount code for a limited time. Well, now it started raining, so we're going to head inside. Oh, I got to put her in the bedroom. Here's some pictures I took before it started raining. As you can see, it takes really good photos. The color saturation's fantastic. I love that it's an adjustable camera. Some of these mini drones, you can't adjust the camera, and that drives me nuts because it's pointed down, which almost makes it worthless. Also, God, I can't tell you how many times people email me and they have all kinds of problems with the drone. They're not setting the gyros. If you take off and it seems to be flying crazy, make sure it's on a level surface when you set the gyros. I go over that whenever I'm showing you how to operate the drone. And this is a video I took while I was holding it. So I can't tell you how happy I am with the way that this drone flies. The other ones just seemed really choppy, where this one seems very fluid. Turns around a lot faster. It doesn't do flips. The old one did flips. This one doesn't do flips. Guys, only bad things happen when little mini drones do flips. They crash into stuff. If you're a beginner, be sure and use your prop guards when you're flying around inside, but it's not as important on this one as the old ones because these are foldable props like I talked about. So if it does hit something, the props will fold away and not ruin the motors, but they could still be damaged. So be sure and use your prop guards inside. I like the lights are much brighter. I love the spin feature on it. It's a lot of fun, and it'll keep spinning until you push it to go a different direction. You can go up and down while it's spinning, but as soon as you touch it to go left or right, it'll stop spinning. Now in the circle mode, it'll only circle for I think about 10 seconds and then it quits doing the circle. So if this is your first drone, just take it low and slow at first. If you're young, you're going to catch on really quick. If you're old like me, it's going to take you a little while. It won't be long before you're flying it around and you're not even thinking about the controls. Your subconscious takes over and your skill set gets better. Here's the circle. It does it for about 10 seconds and then it stops on its own. So try to have an agenda, try to have it fly around you and practice different maneuvers because it'll get boring if you just fly it around. So let's go back and I'll show you how to get everything hooked up to the drone. All right, let's see what she weighs in at. She weighs in at 71 grams, which is compared to 68. So I'm just a little bit heavier and a little bit lighter than the HS430, but heavier than the DEERC D40. So how much is 71 grams? Well, 71 grams is about the same weight as 4 ounces of Noosa. Oh, wait. It's about half the weight of a serving of Noosa. Man, this stuff is good. It tastes like ice cream. So on the drone, it even feels better. I love the feel. It's got a better texture to it. The old one turned down the side. This one turns in on the bottom, and it has a light there. Again, I get their foldable props, and the drone folds up really cool because it folds flat this time. Last time, it didn't fold flat. These kind of stuck out like that, where this one folds completely flat. So that's cool. The lights are a little bit different than in the front. So it's a much better remote than the old DEERC D20. So on the remote, a short press takes a photo, a long press takes a video. Now, a short press here makes it spin, a long press makes it circle. This is your takeoff and landing button. This is your headless mode. Don't ever use that. And then this is how you turn it on, and you have high and low speed. Be sure and go straight to high speed outside. This gimbal doesn't do anything. It takes 3 AA's in the back. And so to turn it on, you turn it on, but the drone is still not connected to it. It's not gonna take off. You have to bind it to it. And how you do that every time is go up and down. You know, blink, and now they're bound, but the gyros aren't set, so turn it away from you. So it doesn't know what's flat, and you pull down and to the right on both of them. They blink again, and now the gyros are set. I would do that every time you take off and every time you crash it. Just keep resetting these gyros. Like that. And now it'll take, now if you push this, it's not going to take off. What you have to do on this one, different than the other ones, is pull down and in on both of them to start the motors. And then you can push the takeoff button. And you can press the landing button too. Also, your emergency stop button is the same button. So if you're going to press this to make it land, be sure you don't hold down on it or it's going to fall out of the sky. And your trim button is this one. So you hold down on this one and then you move this in the opposite direction of whatever's going. It takes a little bit of practice, but you'll get the hang of it. So I'm gonna fly with my phone, but I'm gonna use my iPad to show you how to use the camera. So you go to your iOS, open it up in the App Store. It's a different app. It's the DEERC Go app. You have to download it first, and you can open it up, but it's not gonna work on your iPad until you go to your back. It's a Wi-Fi drone, so go back to your settings, hit Wi-Fi, look for DEERC. So now the camera will work when you open up the app. I would just use all the buttons on the remote to fly the drone and to work the camera and the video. They kind of work on the app, but they're not very consistent. So let's go back for our final review. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching my review of the DEERC D40. Really good beginner mini drone. And why is it so important to start with one of these? I talk about it in all my videos to learn the orientation of a drone. Most people, they go out, they spend a bunch of money on a drone, and I've shown this guy 100 times, but they come home with something like this because they don't know how to fly a drone. So it's much better to learn on a drone like this, that where you fly it around until you learn the orientation of the drone and learn how the controls work, because the controls work just the same on a big drone as they do on a little drone. If you're gonna fly it indoors, be sure and use the prop guards. I love the camera. Is it the best drone out there in the market for this price point? Guys, if you're gonna fly indoors, I really like the DEERC D23, and it's got the cool factor of having the lights. They get about the same flight time, which is about 7 or 8 minutes. I like the way it flies a little bit better than the Sandrock U61, but again, this one has covered props. So if you're just wanting to fly it indoors, I would go with either the DEERC D23 or the Sandrock U61. If you're flying it outdoors, also in both, or you just really like the look of this drone, it's great. Does it beat the Holystone HS430? Well, I think they fly the same, and I really like the cameras on both of them. I got to give this one to the edge for flight time. This one's 7 or 8 minutes. This one was like 11 and a half minutes. I was talking to Holystone. I said, how are these things lasting so long? And she said they're just getting new batteries from a new manufacturer on this one and the latest 720G that they got. And they're getting really long flight times out of these little bitty tiny batteries. So if you bought this one, congratulations on starting with the beginner mini drone and being smart. But it's really nice to have so many options out there, and this is a really good one. But as always, if you got something out of this, please like and subscribe. Subscribers mean everything to me in this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.